And I put down the gun. And in 1986, I began to live as opposed to exist. Not because I'm anything special, only because there was a teacher who told me that I could. A teacher who told me, this young black kid that nobody wanted, that nobody believed in, that nobody thought could do anything. The same black kid that people thought would end up in jail and have 20 babies all over the country and do all types of crazy stuff and become another statistic. This teacher said, you will not fail, you will win. And I continued to inhale and exhale because of what she did. And I'm going to tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, from 18 until about 20-something, life was rough. I tell you, it was not easy. But you know what? I did it anyway. See, greatness is not about the big, grand things. Greatness is about pushing forward when you don't want to. It's about doing the stuff that you don't want to do, even when it's hard. And I know that it's rough. The educational system right now in this country, it is rough. All the teacher bashing that's going on, all the people that are talking about you and that you're not doing a good job, and the budget cuts, they're asking you to do more with less. It's not easy. It is rough. It is hard. But you know what? We need you anyway. Because there's some kid in your classroom, some kid you affected, or some kid that you may affect that needs what it is you have. Every one of you has your own DNA, your own special fingerprint, your own uniqueness, or as Austin Powers said, your own mojo, your own way of doing things that nobody else can do but you. Whether you're a classroom teacher, whether you matter. If you're in education, you have the power to change somebody's life. And that is the biggest part of greatness. Some of you are quitting. I'm going to teach you. I'm over. It's not. If you go and you talk to your colleagues, you know what? This kid, Randall, he's been on my nerves. I mean, this kid comes in, he sleeps all the time. I mean, he does all this stuff, and you swear to your colleagues that it's over. You're done. You're out of here. And what do? You go home, you look at your mortgage statement. I can't do it. You know, that's what happens. Jeez, I have bills to pay. Come on. And the thing about it is, excuse me, I'm going to get some water. The thing about it is, you begin to remember why it is you got into this profession in the first place. You begin to remember your calling, your uniqueness, what made you different, what made you come into education. And it's not always about the money, because personally, I'll tell you this. I don't think teachers are paid enough, honestly. For what it is, someone said, hey, man, right? No, seriously, for what it is you do, you're not paid enough. You should be paid at least $100,000, at least, for what it is you do. Maybe we can put that on the petition for next year. I don't know. But, hey, look. God, thank you so much. The thing about it is why do you do this? Why did you become a teacher? You guys remember when you first decided to become a teacher? You guys remember that? How many people remember? Okay, we need some ginkgo biloba. That's okay. Fantastic. Nonetheless. But you remember I was in a school district once, and I asked the teacher, I said, she was brand new. She was like 24 years old. She's brand new into the profession. And I was interviewing some teachers, and I said, look, can you tell me, why did you become a teacher? And she was one of these, what I call bubbly people. Anybody know the bubbly? We call them sunshine people. Anybody know sunshine people? These are the people that are optimistic no matter what happens. There could be a tsunami coming, and they're like, well, hey, you know what? We get a surfboard. It's okay. Everything's going to be great. Yeah. I mean, they're just so passionate and so energetic. And so I'm talking to this teacher, and I said, ma'am, why did you become a teacher? She's 24. And she says, well, I became a teacher because, like, when I was a kid, I was babysitting, and I was just really good with kids, and so I just really wanted to make a difference. And, like, many kids would go out and pick flowers, and so I thought that maybe I could be a teacher. And, so she went on and on and on and on, right? And the thing about it was, about a year and a half later, I go back to the district, and she had lost her enthusiasm. It wasn't the same. I saw her and said, hey, how's it going? How's the teaching going? Man, are you still excited? She's like, that was it. This, from great is great. How does that happen, And what I discovered was that when you give a lot of energy, if you don't replenish, if you don't constantly remind yourself why it is you do what you do, burnout can happen. Anybody ever been there? You ever been to the point where you just get up in the morning and you're just tired? You just feel you can't go on? But yet something happens in the course of teaching where you're reminded once again why you do what you do, why what you do is so important and so valued. And that's the most exciting thing about teaching. And see, the thing about it is, I remember that Miss Ritchie would come in every day, and we would all stand in a circle, and she would make us hold hands, and she would tell every one of us how much she loved us, and that we were significant, and that we were special, and she gave so much energy. And I remember her passion for why it is she does what she did, why she continued to teach when they told her that she probably should stop because we weren't worth the time. But see, she believed in something bigger. She believed in something more. And when I look into this audience, I see just tremendous greatness. I see some of you who have reached kids in a way that you never thought that you would ever reach kids. You talk about the butterfly effect. How many of you have had some kids that were difficult? That because of what you've done, now they've changed just a little bit. They're not the same kids. See, that's what it's all about. And see, when we talk about the course of people in our life that make the biggest difference, we need to begin to realize that it's not just about what we do now. It's about 20 years from now, the impact that those kids that we serve today will make. See, it's all about paying it forward. It's all about the law of reciprocity that says that whatever you give, you're going to get back. See, I had a friend of mine who, many, many years ago when I was in college, I met this guy, and this guy was a professional speaker when I decided to get into the arena. I'm at this event, and I meet this guy, and I tell him what I want to do. I want to make a difference for people's lives, and he stands up, he gives me this book entitled Destined for Greatness, and he says, whatever you need, young man, I'm willing to help you. So for the next probably 8 years, this guy mentors me, and he encourages me, and he understands that if he sows into me that maybe I could be the speaker that I've always dreamed of being. He never asked me for anything. He gave everything he had to me, and you know what? Sometimes I didn't even listen to him. And sometimes I make him upset. He'd tell me to do stuff I wouldn't do it. I would learn by trial and error. But he never gave up. He inspired me to be greater. That whole butterfly effect. But see, if there was no Miss Ritchie, there would never be other mentors. There would never been this guy. And this guy, I have to just tell him how much I appreciate him and show my love for him. And that is one of your own, Dr. Robert Lawson. Stand up for me, sir. Yes, sir. You, sir. Please stand up. Now, let me tell you something about Doc Lawson here. Doc Lawson plays the guitar, grew up in Gallipolis, Ohio, lived down in Portsmouth, and I tell you, there were many times when I was going through my career that I didn't think that I was going to make it, but I would go down to his house and we would sit on his front porch. And what he would do, he would paint this picture of what could happen. He would paint this picture of what I could become. And the thing about it was, see, we all need someone in our life that believes in us. See, when we begin to look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that self-actualization piece, the one right at the tip, see, there's one before that, it's the need to belong. Every kid, every person needs to belong to something. They need to feel valued. They need to feel like they're important. They need to feel that they're the most important. When kids don't, then they can never believe in themselves. Because, see, kids never really do what we say, but they always do what we do. Kids are smart these days. They're a lot smarter than when I was a kid. And kids understand that they're looking for great mentors. They're looking for people who think outside the box. They're looking for someone who really believes in this aspect of teaching. And every day when you go to work and you look in the mirror at yourselves, you need to be proud about what you do. You need to understand that you are the greatest resource this nation has, because most of our kids spend more time with us than they do at home. And when they're in our classroom, they belong to you. They are your family. They are looking to you for inspiration. And that's why it's so important for us as heroes to understand energy, to understand the importance of supporting one another. helping your colleagues, because I'm going to tell you, sometimes in this profession, you want to burn out. You want to just give up. You must change the way you think.